Hello Commanders fans, today we bring you 5 last-minute trades that Commanders can make. Take advantage and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss any updates, and leave a like to strengthen our support. Let's join us in this, and now, without further ado, let's get to today's news. 5 last-minute trades the Commanders can make to cement NFC East supremacy. The Washington Commanders and General Manager Adam Peters in particular have a big few days ahead of them. This team is well ahead of schedule in year 1 of a drastic rebuild. They're 7-2 and atop the NFC East, with only the Philadelphia Eagles as a legitimate threat to their hopes of securing the crown. Philadelphia is looking strong after a lackluster start. The Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants are in complete disarray. It's an unexpected opportunity, but it's one Peters can't afford to pass up with the trade deadline fast approaching. The Commanders are reportedly making calls. ESPN's Adam Schefter also revealed that players are actively trying to join Washington for the first time in decades. They sense something special is brewing and want to be a part of it. It's a surprising development that has captivated the team's long-suffering fan base along the way. That won't make it any easier for Peters to find the right fit, but it won't be for lack of trying, that's for sure. With that in mind, here are 5 last-minute trades the Commanders should consider to cement their NFC East supremacy in 2024. Commanders could trade for Jadeveon Clowney. Whether the Carolina Panthers secure their second win of the season changes their approach ahead of the 2024 trade deadline remains to be seen. They're still among the bottom feeders and will need to consider offers for players who don't fit into their long-term plans. There's also a growing sentiment around the league that Jadeveon Clowney could be moved if the price is right. Clowney never quite reached the lofty heights expected as a generational edge rusher coming out of South Carolina. However, he's an exceptional presence against the run and has experience being around winning organizations. That's what the Washington Commanders could be looking for to lead a potential postseason push. The Commanders could decide they have enough on the cap given Dante Fowler Jr.'s emergence as a bona fide pass-rushing force. Clowney is a good player who would likely relish the chance to land a contender, but the fact that he has another year left on his contract means Adam Peters could look elsewhere when all is said and done. Commanders could trade for Tre'Davius White. If National Insider reports are to be believed, the Washington Commanders have focused their trade inquiries on 2 position groups. The power brokers are reportedly looking for another productive wide receiver to help rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels. They could also use a more productive cornerback to handle the excellent passing attacks they'll face late in the campaign. One name to watch is Tre'Davius White. The prolific veteran is reportedly on the trade block as the Los Angeles Rams solidify their precarious position. He's had some injury issues in recent years, but he was an all-pro caliber player at the height of his powers. A lot will depend on the compensation involved. White only joined the Rams during the offseason and is already considered surplus to requirements. That means Adam Peters could get a bargain, especially considering his ability to thrive in press-man coverage situations throughout his career. Perhaps the Commanders would look for someone more reliable on the health front. But if they're looking for a short-term solution to give their secondary a shot in the arm, White will enter the discussion. The Commanders could trade for Mike Williams. When the New York Jets made their blockbuster trade for all-pro wide receiver Davante Adams, there was always going to be collateral damage. This seems to be Mike Williams looking back at his lack of involvement since the trade became official. Williams is another who hasn't had the best luck injury-wise over the past few seasons. But at 6'4" and with the athleticism to match, he's a matchup nightmare when he's fit and firing on all cylinders. The Commanders have someone similar, which could alter their thought process in this scenario. Noah Brown is starting to develop encouraging chemistry with Jayden Daniels and had a solid performance in Week 9 against the New York Giants. This feels like a continuing trend rather than a flash in the pan, which could dictate a more possession-based target than a vertical weapon. The options are a bit slim after a flurry of wide receiver moves over the past 2 weeks. Williams may be the best remaining option, but that doesn't guarantee the Commanders will give up draft capital to acquire him. Commanders could trade for Jonathan Jones. As previously mentioned, the Washington Commanders could use another cornerback capable of providing guaranteed coverage. The unit is performing adequately enough against mid to low-level opponents. That won't be enough if this resurgent franchise wants to mix it up with the NFL's best. That could be something in their immediate future, much to everyone's surprise, so early in the new regime's plans for the future. Giving up a draft pick to acquire someone with established credentials is worth the risk, considering how expectations rise with each win. Jonathan Jones is a name that is being heavily touted as a trade possibility before the deadline. The New England Patriots aren't going anywhere fast at 2-7, which has always been a possibility under new head coach Jerod Mayo. The veteran cornerback and two-time Super Bowl winner could be released as they look to recoup assets ahead of the 2025 offseason. Jones is 31 years old, but he's still playing at a high level. He's reached the pinnacle of the game and should fit right in with Commanders' impressive culture shift. It's also unlikely to cost him earth, which only adds to the temptation. Commanders could trade for Marshon Lattimore. This would be the highest profile trade option by a considerable margin. It would also be the best, considering the exceptional talent Marshon Lattimore brings to the table. The New Orleans Saints suffered an embarrassing 7th straight loss in Week 9 against the Carolina Panthers. Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz revealed that those in power may be willing to part ways with the cornerback to alleviate their salary cap concerns in 2025. Lattimore is young enough to be considered a long-term piece of the Adam Peters puzzle. The Commanders have enough spare financial resources to absorb the final 2 years of his deal. He would also become their best man-to-man coverage option from the moment he steps on the field. This would be a home run for the Commanders in no uncertain terms. It may be a long shot, but the need to change expectations and maximize Jaden Daniels' rookie contract cannot be overstated. Some interesting days lie ahead, and some big repercussions could arise depending on what Peters does or doesn't do.